don't know how to answer it. And of course, most of us women probably dream of having a smaller bottom, but not our next guest this morning. This is 30-year-old Vanity Wonder. Now, she was so desperate to have a curvier bottom that she spent over $15,000 on illegal injections, and she was forced at one point to use super glue to stop her bottom cheeks from leaking from the substance. She's here with us this morning to say, as much as that she wanted that look, it was actually put your life in danger probably at some point. The trouble is you don't know a lot of the time what's in these injections, do you?
Yeah, a lot of times women don't know. The first 2 times that I went and got injected, I don't know what she used. She said she used soybean oil, but in doing research and thinking back on it, I don't believe her. And every time after that, I made sure that I had medical-grade silicone, but I'm just one of the lucky cases. A lot of women don't know what they've been injected with.
Now, I want to show a picture of your bottom, if you don't mind me doing that, before you have this procedure, because I have to say, I would be extremely happy. Let's have a look at you before you started having... Now, that is a bootylicious bottom.
What is your problem with that?
Yeah, what made you want to change
that? I never had a problem with it.
So what made you want to go and have these injections to make it curvy or bigger?
Well, the first time that I heard about injections, I thought that it was the most terrible thing anybody could do. I thought it was really stupid. And then after being a year in that environment where everybody was doing it...
You were a dancer.
And yes, I was dancing. And everybody was doing it, and it wasn't so much of a foreign concept as much as it was when I first was introduced to it. And then I was like, well, I might as well try it. So I tried it. And then after that, it became a competition thing. Not a competition for men, but a competition against other women. And so many of us were doing it because we wanted to be better than the other person.
Well, we saw the before. There's the after. And just to put it into context, if you wouldn't mind standing up in studio here, and I think people can see the degree of the curve there, which is... I mean, that's quite a curve.
And how many treatments?
Well, I've also had hip injections too. So I've had butt and hip injections.
But you're a small, petite woman, framed woman. So is this something that becomes an obsession? And sure, at first it probably started, it would look nice, but then it gets bigger and bigger. It's out of proportion with your body.
It is out of proportion. Well, like you said, it was an obsession. It did become kind of addictive. But more so than that, there was a point where it got infected. So I was left with all these lumps all over my butt, and I had a choice. I could stay with the medium size, really, it looked like a bag of oranges. I could stay with the medium size lumpy butt, or just keep padding it with silicone to make it better. And every time you pad it with silicone, it just gets bigger. So it wasn't my goal to get this big, but in trying to pad it to make it look better, that's what happened.
Can you reverse it?
I don't believe so. I mean, there may be technology that gets done later on, but see, what has to happen is if the doctor goes in to take it out, he has to slice you and go in as deep as the silicone has. So a lot of times, when they have to, because some women, a lot of women get sick from it. So when they actually have to go in, women are left with no really bottom at all.
And this is not like taking out a breast implant. This is because this is from hundreds of injections. Now, so dangerous is this, and such is this trend that you've written this book called Shot Girls.
Yes.
Who is this aimed at? Is it other dancers? Is it a peculiarly American thing?
And that's funny because injections over in America, they transcend any border you get around it. In the book, I talk about a mother who brought her 17-year-old daughter to get injections. The oldest lady I've ever seen get injections was 70 years old. So there's no border around this. It's not just dancers. It's not just women in the entertainment industry. It's every woman who looks in the mirror and doesn't like how she looks.
But where has that culture come from of this wanting a big curvy bottom?
Well, the injections we got from south of the border. We got from, Rio de Janeiro, but it boomed in the black culture. And now it's everywhere. White, Hispanic, Asian.
And this is not a pleasant treatment. I mean, was I right in reading, you go and have one injection in each cheek per treatment. How many injections were you having each time you went?
The first 2 times I went, I had 9 injections in each cheek. Okay, 9, whatever. Well, subsequently after that, I was getting 120 and it's collectively in both
It
cheeks.
must be so painful.
Yeah, just explain that to me, because if you've got the muscle in your buttock and the skin, and they're injecting in, it isn't suddenly that your bottom grows overnight. I mean, they're injecting something that's forcing the skin apart, aren't they? Which, even to describe it, sounds painful.
It feels like lightning. It's a pain that it originates in your butt, but it shoots down to your kneecap, and I'm talking about, like, it's a pain that seizes up your leg. It's not an ordeal that is very easy.
And then tell us what happened, because yours started to leak as well.
Well, it's not that it started to leak. It leaks as they're doing it. So it's not that it starts to leak. As they're doing it, it'll leak out because it's always a greasy substance.
Yes.
So they seal it, everyone, not just mine, but they seal everyone's with super glue. And that's like the street way of sealing it up.
You were saying when you were dancing, it was kind of coming out,
oh, yeah,
making the floor slippery.
Oh, yeah.
So what
and
made
Vanity,
you stop?
also in the book, you tell this terrible story about this 18-year-old girl who was so painful, and she was dancing and literally leaking from 6 different puncture holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you have to keep it sealed. You know, what they do is they inject you. They take the needle out. Okay, now the needle has made a hole in you. Okay, so whatever they injected into you is coming out. So they wipe it off, they seal you with super glue, and then they put a cotton ball on top of it to keep it in. Well, if you take those cotton balls off before 10 hours or something like that, you don't have a proper scab. It hasn't scabbed over to keep it inside you. So when you peel that cotton ball off too early, it takes some skin off with it too, because it's super glue.
Did it ever get infected? Because that sounds like
yes, I had it. A lot of women get infections. I'm just the one talking about mine. A lot of them won't say out loud, oh yeah, it wasn't a good idea, yeah, I got an infection.
Which makes me want to ask, why did you decide to speak out? Because you've stopped having these now.
Yes, I stopped.
What was the moment you said this is ridiculous?
The last time I had injections was like May of 2011, like May, June, something like that. Well, what made me stop is because I almost went to jail for it. They were trying, the 70-year-old woman got really, really sick, and she was in a coma from these injections. And they were trying to put me in jail. And I'm like, I could be taken away from my kids.
Because you were working at this point.
Yeah, I was making the appointments for the woman who was doing the injections. And I'm like, I could be taken away from my kids. You know, but what's so funny is because even having the injections, even having the infection didn't make me stop. Nothing made me stop until I was faced with losing my kids. But if I would have been smart enough, I would have understood that an infection running through your body, these shots can take you away just as quick, and that's what I want girls to know. Because them injecting into you, they can hit a vein, inject right into your vein, you're done.
I can understand that whole health aspect, I can understand your crusade, but you've had it done and you have lived the life. And when you look at yourself now, are you happy with the way you look? I mean, the crusade aside, the dangers aside, I mean, do you like the way you look?
Well, truthfully, I would like a little bit of a smaller butt. But I'm very happy that I didn't die. I'm very happy that I'm still here for my children. You know, and that in itself is such a blessing. I did so much dumb stuff with my body that I'm just happy that I'm even living to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So yes, when I look in the mirror, I say, it's kind of hard to go shopping. I'd like a little bit of a smaller butt. But I'm happy when I see myself because I'm still living.
Are you still dancing?
No, I haven't danced for, it'll be a year pretty soon. Because I just wanted to devote everything that I could to this book. I just wanted to put everything in it and tell the truth 100%, that way people know what it really is.
We said you take the glamour away from it, which is important.
It is fascinating, and it's something I wasn't aware of. I mean, and apparently people get this operation done legitimately as well.
No.
Implants, they get implants.
Yeah, you can get implants, but injected freely into your butt is not legal in any sense of the word at all.
And I know when we met outside before the program, you were wondering if mine were implants. This is all.
I thought I saw you there in the hotel room. Right?
This is Irish bootylicious, genuine
Yeah,
stuff.
no need to
Fascinating stuff, Vanity.
Vanity.
Thank you very much. So interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.